Well, welcome everyone to our webinar today called Back to School with Bookshare. We're very excited that you all are joining us, and we're looking forward to sharing some wonderful new enhancements to Bookshare for those of you who are familiar with Bookshare, and for those of you who are brand new to it. I'm sure that you'll find this to be really worthwhile. We're excited. I wanted to introduce our team to you today and give everyone a chance to say hello. So I'm Christine Jones, Senior Education Program Manager with Bookshare with Benetech, and primarily working on Bookshare. And I'll let our team go around the table.
All right, I'll go next. And I'm Ginny Grant. I'm the Senior Product Manager for Bookshare, and I also assist with many of the reading tools that the students are using.
And my name is Nick Bowen. I'm the Customer Service Manager. So as you guys have questions, especially after the webinar, please feel free to call me and my team. You can find us under the Help Center.
And I'm Laura Ronberg, Associate Relationship Manager with the Global Literacy Team.
So Bookshare is the world's largest library of ebooks for people who need to read differently. And members read in ways that work for them. And we'll demonstrate some of those ways today that members can read Bookshare books. But basically, members can listen to books read aloud, follow along with audio and highlighted text. They can read in large type, and they can read in Braille, and they can basically customize their reading experience. So on this slide, I have several pictures of students reading books, and many of these are Bookshare users who have just wonderful stories to tell about how Bookshare has turned them into readers, and they're reading on iPads, on various kinds of tablets, Chromebooks, laptops, other devices. Lots of great ways to read the books. And Bookshare's collection currently has more than 568,000 titles in it, and about 5,000 titles are added each month. That includes textbooks, books for assigned reading, books for leisure reading, periodicals. And memberships in Bookshare are free for all qualified U.S. students, thanks to funding from the U.S. Department of Education, Office of Special Education Programs. And there are many free ways to read Bookshare books, as well as low-cost and commonly available tools for reading Bookshare books, and we'll demonstrate some of those today. To qualify for Bookshare, someone has to have been certified by what the law calls a competent authority as having a barrier to reading or processing printed text. Those barriers can include a learning disability that affects reading, such as dyslexia, low vision or blindness, or a physical disability that affects reading. And our website has a complete list of, or a lot more information, I should say, about qualifications. So I encourage you to go to bookshare.org and then look for, is Bookshare for me? And under there, you'll see who qualifies. You'll get to see more information. The competent authority can be any number of different individuals who work with that student, and there are examples of those titles, job titles, if you will, on the Bookshare website. So Bookshare books can be read in more ways than ever before, and we're going to demonstrate a few of those now. So I'm going to turn it over to Ginny, who is first going to simulate the experience of an educator who is adding a new student to Bookshare.
All right. Hoping we're able to see the Manage Members screen. I have logged in as if I were a teacher into Bookshare with my sponsor account, and I've gone to my Bookshare and then gone to the Members area. So let's just do that. So I'm going to go to my Bookshare, which as a teacher looks a little bit different than for those who are logged into our webinar. Your students of my Bookshare will look a little different. But as a teacher, I can go and manage my student roster, which sets up the list of the organizational members that represent your students. We've added a couple of new features to this so that for teachers who are already using their accounts, you may find that there are students that are already on your roster and you just want to be working with those accounts. So let me just show you one of the features that we've added this past year, which is the filtering, to be able to filter by all grades. So if you're in a large district, whether it's New York or Philadelphia, You can choose to have to look for perhaps just your 5th grade students or just your 10th grade students and be able to work with just those students. Or the other thing I'm going to show you right now is adding a new student. So we have these new icons at the top to add members, and there's also similar ones at the bottom as well of every list. But I'm going to go add a new student. I'm going to put in a student 7227. These are just demo accounts, but you, of course, will be putting in the name of your students. Oops, funny there. 12/1/2008. Let's just do that. So that makes 3rd grade, maybe a 5th grader. And I'm going to put in a username, and I'm going to, for today's demo, just demonstrate with the same password. This allows the student to have access directly to Bookshare and to the books that you are preparing for them. If your district wants to, you can choose to put in the actual school name. Every account is different, and we have some good materials on whether to use that or not. I'm going to just do that for my demonstration purposes. This is a student who has a qualifying disability of both visual and learning, a learning difference, and they have an IEP. It's very important that you designate whether the member or the student is 504 qualified and or whether they have an IEP. Another thing that we don't normally have to change, but I'm going to make reference to this later, so I just wanted to show you that you can set at this moment, but you don't have to. You can change the download format for particular students. For example, if you know that they're going to be working on an iPad, you might want to make a change to read with EPUB on a regular basis. But we'll come back to that. So I've just added my student member. I could add them to existing reading lists or even create a custom one for that student right that moment. I'm just going to go the simple route of adding them to some reading lists that I've already got defined. So I know that this person is excited about books that have gone to film, and they love reading the New York Times bestsellers list for children. Thank you. So I'm just assigning that student immediately to those reading lists, which opens up the possibility of them reading dozens and dozens of books immediately. So should I go and log in as that student, or is that the next step?
Yeah, no, I think that's great, Ginny. Thanks for sharing that experience. That's sort of what the teacher will do to set up the students. So Ginny logged into her her organizational Bookshare account and added a student, and then assigned some books to that student. And as she mentioned, she added the student to a couple of publicly available reading lists. This is a new feature. We've set up a lot of pre-curated lists of books that are available that can be shared with any student on your account. And it's a great way to provide access to students, to give students access to multiple books really right off the bat. And that's what Ginny did. So now she's going to log in as that student she just created and show you how she'll open one of those books in Bookshare Web Reader, which is our web-based reading browser-based reading tool.
All right, so I'm just changing out my sharing applications. What I'm doing is I'm now logging in Google Chrome as an example as that student. And I'm going to go to my Bookshare. And what I can see is that I've been assigned certain reading lists by my teachers. I'm going to just expand that a little bit. I've been assigned some reading lists, and I'm able to read books right on that reading list. So, for example, that books to film we were talking about, I'm going to be able to see all the books that I have access to just by having been assigned that reading list. What I'm going to do now is I could choose to download that book directly, maybe onto my iPad, or I am going to just choose Read Now, which opens up the web reader. There we go. So that book has now been prepared for that student I can open up a list of, if there were a table of contents, go to a particular page number. So that often happens in a class. The teacher says, go to page 15. The student goes to page 15 and will now be able to read where everybody else is. What I'm going to do is turn on the audio, and I'm going to come as close to the mic as I can so that you're able to hear what's going on there.
On Wednesday morning, Manfred woke up thinking about the people of midnight, starting with the mysterious Olivia. When Manfred imagined her with Lemuel, it gave him a frisson of something he didn't care to examine. He called it distaste. Based on Manfred's own experience, he couldn't deny that Lemuel had a powerful presence, though if Lemuel had been human.
So I hope that gave you just a little glimpse as to just the ease at which the student is able to open up the book and start reading with that highlighting and synchronized voice. I was just using a standard Microsoft offering of a TTS voice that's available on Chrome. And for those who are using Chromebooks or Mac, there's more options for TTS as well. But that's just one of those options. Let me also show you some of the other settings that might be valuable for people using this Bookshare web reader. It may be that the font size needs to be enlarged if someone has low vision. Or if somebody has if the white background makes their eyes tired, we can switch it over to a different font size, different coloration. I'll also just show you one of the other options that we have is using Beeline, which is an external reading tool that we've integrated with Bookshare. But as you can see, has a different coloration between the end of one line to the beginning of the next line. Some people find that that's really helpful to keep focus between lines as their eye moves from the line that has, say, Manfred over to woke up. Everybody's reading experience differs, but it's one more tool in the toolbox. Time.
So, Ginny, there was a question about whether you can move to another page in the book.
Let's do that. So we're going to go to another page. Let's say that the student now remembers that they want to go to page 32, or it also depends on the markup. If the book has been set up with real chapters, and especially for textbooks, this is very helpful, that you might have chapters and sections that you can go to using this table of contents. Or if I want to go to page 30, for example, I'm able to jump right over to a specific page.
Did you do that by selecting it in that table of contents?
Yeah. Oh, was that not able to be seen? Okay. So the table of
I could see the table of contents come up. But
So what I did is I pulled up the table of contents using the little icon of the list-looking icon, and then I went to a specific page number. I can also use a drop-down for that, but just selecting a particular page helps me to move around to, if I've been told to open up page 32, there it is.
Great.
And then when I go back to Bookshare, using the little Bookshare icon, this takes me back to my Bookshare page with that book as my most recently read, and then or I could go into a different book.
Great. So Ginny demonstrated logging in as the student that she just added and opening and reading a book in the Bookshare web reader, which is the Chrome, using some of the Chrome functionality that allows for text-to-speech and word highlighting. And now Laura is going to demonstrate how a student would log into their account in Safari on an iPad and download the book to the iPad to read it in iBooks, which is a free tool that's available on all iPads and iPhones and on all Mac computers as well. So Laura, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Christine. You should be seeing the image of an iPad on the My Bookshare page. Is that going through? Great. So Bookshare books are now available to be read in iBooks, which comes standard on iPads, iPhones, and Mac computers. It's a great free tool. No special app is needed since it's already built in. And the Apple products have pretty good accessibility features already built into the devices as well. So with that, you can have the text-to-speech and word highlighting. So I'm going to demonstrate how you get a book in the format for iBooks, and then what that looks like on the screen. So I'm logged in here as a Bookshare student, and you would have assigned the student books on a reading list. So I'm going to go to my reading list here, and I'm going to select the reading list I want to find my book on. And so as an example, the student's going to read The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. They would select the download, and you have a variety of formats to choose from, but you want to select the EPUB format for iBooks. So you would just select EPUB and download. And then the book is ready to be read. Through their history, they would click on that. And then you get the option to open in iBooks. Very simple. It opens in iBooks where you have a bookshelf of all the books. So now we can look at what the book looks like in iBooks.
Anne of Green Gables, up the hill and into the long lane of Green Gables. By the time they arrived at the house, Matthew was shrinking from the approaching revelation with an energy he could not understand. It was not as Marlowe or himself.
So that's an example of how it reads. The devices have a variety of voices built in, so you can pick, male, female, male voice, female voice, different accents. And then there's this little toolbar. You can select the tortoise to make it slower, or the hare icon to make it faster, so you have some flexibility there for whatever works best for the reader. And on our Help Center, we have an article about opening books in iBooks, and it has the instructions, in case you want to go back and read through. And on the iPad, you can see here we have the instructions for the different accessibility features you need to set up through the Settings tab on the iPad.
Great. Yes, so just a quick note. So iBooks, as I mentioned, is a free app that comes on every iPad and iPhone and is on every Mac computer. However, there are many other great apps that work on the iPad. We'll show or talk about at least one or two of those. And someone asked about Read2Go, which is an app that Benetech distributes for reading Bookshare books. And certainly if you're using Read2Go, you're more than welcome to continue using it. We just wanted to present iBooks as another option. It is a free option, and we think it offers a lot of the same functionality as Read2Go, and so we definitely like to recommend it. And in fact, in the iPad settings, you can select different voices, you can select differences in colors and the way that the text is represented, so lots of options there. Okay. So now Nick is going to talk about some other great apps and ways to read Bookshare books. He was busy answering someone's question, so here he comes now.
All right, so my name is Nicholas Bowen. I apologize. I have this need to answer every question that I see pop up.
Being the good customer support manager that he is.
Finishing that as quickly as I could. So thank you all for being here today. It's great to see a bunch of new names. There's a couple familiar names in here as well. If you haven't, I'll put one more little note for my team. My customer service team is always happy to help you. One of the greatest things about Bookshare is how flexible it is, and that you can read books on a wide range of devices with a wide range of formats, but of course that flexibility can often lead to confusion as well. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We really, really want to make sure that everybody gets up and reading. So what's on the screen here is that flexibility that I mentioned. We have a back door that our partners can create applications that are compatible with Bookshare, and they can do so focusing on different reading styles, different student ages, everything that matters. A lot of you are familiar with our old tools, Read2Go, but one of the great things is these app developers are so focused on their tools that they can make some incredible tools, tools that do so much more for our members than what Read2Go even currently offers, as much as I hate to say it. So on the screen now is the Member Preferred page, our Member Preferred Tools page. This can be found under our Help Center. If you go to our Help Center, there's a big blue button for reading tools, or of course also the popular ways to read link that's just underneath it. On this page, we start off, of course, with the Bookshare web reader. This is that Read Now link that many books will find. Underneath that is Kathy Narrator, which is also a brand new tool. It's a great tool for people getting started with Bookshare. It is free, but I will note that it has a subscription service on it to where for larger books or books with images, you do need to purchase the subscription in order for those features to appear. Another great tool that's brand new on our radar is Dolphin Easy Reader. This is free on iOS, and I'm going to knock on wood that Android is going to show up soon. This is a great tool for Bookshare members that focuses especially for low vision members, but supports all of our members as well. Being free is of course the great tool there. Voice Dream Reader is the new sort of gold standard. It does have a one-time upfront cost, but it's a tool that we highly recommend, of course, as well. It includes on newer devices the ability to show images right from default, great voicing options as well. And then, of course, Open Lore Reader and a couple of our other partners can be found on this page. They're great tools to find in order to access Bookshare books. And just a side note as well, if you have questions regarding Bookshare in general or just would like to connect with others in the community, another great tool is if you come out here to our Help Center, right on the very bottom we have the Ask the Community link that takes you to the new Bookshare discussion forum. So if you have questions about Bookshare, if you have feature ideas that you want to connect to us with, we're on here every day. Please feel free to start a new thread, add to the discussion, and help make Bookshare better.
Okay. I did see a question about just wanting to understand how the student would log in, so I thought I would quickly demonstrate that. Ginny went through it, but I thought I'd just reiterate it really quick here.
And while she's doing that, we're getting some fabulous questions. We're barely able to keep up with them, but we will come back to this. We will have time for a solid Q&A.
Yes.
So thank you for continuing to post your questions.
Absolutely. Great point. So quickly I'll show you. So if I want to either add a student and give them their own login to Bookshare, or I want to add a student login to someone who was already on my account, I can do all of that in my Manage Members section in the organizational account. And so I can edit any of these students. I have a bunch of fake students in my account, obviously. But when you first assign a student to Bookshare or add a student to your Bookshare account, I'm going to actually show that dialog box here again. So Jenny went through this, but she put first name, last name, birth date, grade, and whether they're on an IEP or 504. But what you'll see over here is a place to add a username and password for that student. And basically this is what we call a student login. It's a way that the student is logging in to the school account. So this is a little bit different from a full individual membership in Bookshare in that the student uses this login to access books that have been shared with him or her by their teacher, shared on reading lists or downloaded for them, that the student can access those books. So we definitely encourage you to add student usernames and passwords to all of your students on your roster and share books with them using reading lists, because then they can go into those accounts. They can log into Bookshare with that username and password on any device with an internet connection that has a way for them to log into Bookshare. And they can log in and access their books and read them. And if they find other books that they want to have provided to them, they just have to ask one of the sponsors on the account to add it to a reading list for them, or to otherwise share it with them so that they can access it. When students are ready to find their own books and open them on their own without wanting to go through a teacher, then the best thing to do is to get them a full individual membership in Bookshare. And I'll show you an easy way to do that. Once a student already has a membership in Bookshare, I'm going to go ahead and see. Okay, So I'm at the Bookshare browser, or Bookshare website. I'm going to log in as a student. And that's using the student login that I just set up, that I would have just set up for a student. Hopefully this is going to work. Okay, great. And then when the student logs in, they see this view your assigned books here. And they can, as Ginny demonstrated earlier, they can open the reading list and access books that way. But as I started to say, when they're ready to get a full individual membership in Bookshare, it's right here on their My Bookshare page. It says, want to choose your own books? Upgrade to an individual membership. So if they select that link, it takes them to a place on our Help Center and then to a sign-up page that is pre-populated with their student information. If they're under 18, it will require a parent or guardian's first name, last name, email, and phone. And basically, the parent is signing this with in a digital way. They can sign digitally here. But that's the way to get a student a full individual membership in Bookshare, which allows them to find their own books and open them more easily. Yeah.
And I've seen a number of questions about from teachers who have students who have both an individual membership as well as their school membership, which I think that Nick is probably trying to answer, but do you want to just go across?
Yeah, so is it a good time to start the Q&A?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So there are a ton of great questions in here, and this is Bookshare. Starting with the member roster side of things, if the student has taken the time to upgrade to a full-fledged individual membership, that individual membership is one that the student technically owns themselves, which means in terms of us helping recover the account and everything, it needs to be us working with the student, or if the student's under 18, the student's parents or guardians directly to help them recover that account. Now, any agreement that you as organizations have with the parents in terms of account access, that's perfectly fine by us. We just need to make sure that when we actually help recover the accounts, we can only work with those people, at least for right now. If you have a student who has an individual account but they cannot regain access to it, and parents aren't available to gain access to these, we all have these situations. What I recommend doing is delete the student from your account and then re-add them. When you add them back, there will be that simple organization account that you'll then be able to set passwords to and assign books to. And maybe sometime down the road, the student can recover their individual membership, because the individual membership will still exist in Bookshare. And if they do recover it, you can merge them back together. In terms of what email address they use, again, because the student owns the account, or if the student's under 18, it's the parents or guardians that technically own the account. It's up to that party on what email address they use, but if they want to use a school email address, that's perfectly fine. I, of course, highly recommend checking with your IT department. A lot of school email addresses do not allow external emails to be delivered to students' email accounts, and if that's the case, you do want them to use a Bookshare email address there. But you can always work with your IT department to allow Bookshare emails to be delivered to those students. That way they can recover the account and do other things. What were some of the...
Yes, lots of great questions.
So
go for it. Yeah.
The individual memberships, there was a question about renewing those individual memberships. That is a process that has been done by the individual member, the student directly, by updating their school information. But you as organizations absolutely have the option to do that as well. All of the individual memberships are funded through our Department of Education funding. It's not being funded by the local schools, so there's no worry about accidentally funding somebody that maybe you don't want to directly support at any given moment. I know every situation can be a little bit different.
And Nick, I have an example of that I could share with if that's all right. I'm going to share my member roster again. So if you can see the first row of the student demo here, that username, because the member is both a school student membership as well as an individual membership, as Nick was saying, that username, the email address is now private to schools, and we have a situation where the individual membership has actually expired, but either the student themselves can renew it or the teacher can, because as long as they're still associated with the school. So I'm just going to click the renew button, and now we're going to change them, let's say, to 6th grade. They're still in the same school district, same school and district, so I've submitted, and now they're going to be switched over to it no longer requires renewal. So that's something that a teacher can help with. The other thing that every year as you're doing your roster management, as soon as you update actually I won't do that one again because we just did that one, but let's say if I'm updating some of the grade levels, I can pick one or more of these students and then execute the increment grade level option. Are you able to see that on the screen? Great. Yeah. So that would be a way that you can just en masse update a whole lot of people. Yeah. I'm going to do another new feature that we have. As we talked about earlier, I'm going to just filter to everybody who's, for example, in grade 5, and we filter down to those. I want to now add all of those students to one of my school reading lists. So I've selected them, and either the little book icon at the top, add to reading list, activates, or the button at the bottom. They have the same action. I can now pick all 3 of them to say, let's put them on the Blue Bonnet Award nominations reading list. I could also create for them a new reading list as well that is for all just my own 5th graders, for example.
Great. I wanted to also demonstrate, somebody asked about a demonstration account and how to, have a way to show people about Bookshare, and I thought it would be a good idea to mention, let me actually
take back the control there.
I will show you what it's like to search for some books that are what we call freely available, and therefore available to anyone, not only Bookshare members, but anyone. So if you go to Advanced Search, and then under Books to Search, select Freely Available Books, and if you want to include some kind of a category or something, maybe we just want books about animals and we want children's books, then we can use the Advanced Search there. And so all these books that come up are not under copyright protection, which means they can be opened by anyone, including people who are not Bookshare members. So what I would do then is select one of those books and select the Read Now button in Bookshare Web Reader to read it in Bookshare Web Reader, or I could download it in any of the formats available here to read it in iBooks or one of the apps, or some kind of a software tool that reads Bookshare books. But for expediency, I'll just select Read Now, and it'll open up the book. So this is a great way to demonstrate Bookshare to people who aren't members, or allow other people to play around with Bookshare who aren't members. They can go in and access, without having to log in, they can open or download any of these freely available books and get a sense of what it's like to use Bookshare.
All right.
I saw also that Laura just put into the chat room the new browse feature, and maybe this is a great opportunity to talk about some other ways to look for books and discover.
Sure,
and
great
in fact,
idea.
we can answer a question while you bring that up, maybe.
Great.
One of the questions is age of our members and age of the content. Primarily, this member was asking about, we were displaying a lot of higher level books, but for general education or early elementary, we have great picture books. So if we go to the browse page, one of the options on there should be the top 100 picture books.
Great. We do have a lot of books for younger kids as well. There's a whole section of books for kids here, but I will bring up the one that Nick was referring to, top 100 picture books. These all have images and all have descriptions in them as well. Cool.
And then see if we can do a little bit of a lightning round. There was a series of questions on web readers specifically. The web reader will remember where the student left off reading, but only locally to the one device that they're on. So as long as your student is reopening the book on the same computer, it'll drop the student back where they left off. Otherwise, if they are changing devices, use the table of contents option to navigate to a different spot. The web reader does require that the student always be online while reading. So if you have a student that does not plan on having internet connection when reading, we have a couple of other tools that are available for that. It kind of depends on the platform at that point. So I recommend kind of reviewing our member preferred tools page to find something that fits the platform that you're on. It's not yet possible, unfortunately, to bookmark specific spots within the web reader. It is an option in many of our other reading tools. So again, I'm going to plug our member preferred reading tools option. But the web reader does, like I mentioned before, remember where you've left off as long as you're on the same device.
So there was a question actually about captive voice, but just wanting to remember, or kind of a quick refresher on what that is. So as Nick mentioned, these are all sorted kind of by both the device on which they work as well as the type of student who might be attracted to these different applications and reading tools. And you get some information here in terms of their price, what kind of platform they work on. You go here to, it actually says Captive Narrator. I think they're officially using the term Captive Voice now, which is, but this is the app. So the icon is this blue box with the word Captive in it. So that's an app that's available on the iOS platform, so iPads, iPhones, and iPod Touches. There's also a software version of it, or a desktop version of it, right? So I've gone to that, which hopefully you can see that now, captivevoice.com. And so to the point that was the question asked earlier about where if it remembers where a student left off, the great thing about Captive is it does sync between devices. So if a student reads a Bookshare book in Captive on their desktop and then goes home and opens the same book on their iPad, if they're logged in the same way, the book should remember where they left off. But lots of great tools to choose from here. And I also have a slide that indicates some of this. I'll bring that back up.
And while she's doing that, very similarly, somebody asked, does Bookshare read in multiple languages? And also related, does Bookshare have books in other languages? The answer is yes. We have books in lots and lots of different languages. And Captive Narrator, Voice Stream Reader, Dolphin Easy Reader, so many of our applications have text-to-speech voices available for those additional languages. One piece to note, though, is we don't do translation. So if the book is an English book, it will always be read in English. If you want a book in Spanish, it has to be already in Spanish in Bookshare. But you absolutely can download a Spanish book and read it with a Spanish voice.
Well, actually, and Captive now does translation, Captive Voice. Their app, if you select a section of text in Captive, it will translate it into a different language. And then you have to have set up a Spanish voice, but they have that in Captive as well. I did want to show in advance, there are many languages to choose from here, Bookshare books, you can see here, and obviously the numbers of those books will vary depending on how many books we've gotten in those languages. But yes, you can download books in a lot of different languages, but as Nick mentioned, you've got to have something on the other end that reads that voice, unless you're really looking for some comic relief and want to have a Spanish language book read in the English text-to-speech voice or some other text-to-speech voice, then it's probably entertaining but not very practical for reading.
Christine, could you please, where you are, if you would demonstrate, please, that same advanced search and just do, or even through the quick search up at the top, maybe just do a Harry Potter, for example, because we've improved the search results so that we have the refinement options so that you can filter it further on the left side of the screen.
Yep.
So you can see the Harry Potter list that showed up there and the languages. If Christine clicks on the languages filter there on the left, perhaps you have a Bookshare student who's first language is Spanish. You could download both an English version and a Spanish version for them to be able to go back and forth more comfortably. That's just an example of where the improved search refinement has gone. Similarly, if you did another search for, I don't know, mathematics or something exciting like geometry, you might be able, you'd also start to see some different categories, and the advanced search is fabulous, but we're hoping that these quick search refinements are more like other search tools that we've all become accustomed to, and that you'll be able to discover more books that way.
Great. I did a search for geometry, and I'm just going to try to refine it now by just textbooks. And then I can refine by other things if I need to, like author. I can pick a different category.
So hopefully you know a little bit more about what textbooks you're looking for, such as an ISBN, a name, and an author. But if we scroll down this page a little bit, you could do a selection such as history and choose textbook as a category. You'll be able to see all the textbooks that we already have that are categorized as being history, like all the History Alive, which would be available to NIMAC, from the NIMAC to IEP students.
Okay, so in the advanced search, I entered history in the title and then selected the category textbooks. So this should bring up all history textbooks. It's probably going to be a fairly large collection again, but then we can winnow it down.
Even by grade level, say 7th grade history.
Yep, if we go back, let me go back and do that. I was going to recommend, when you're searching for a textbook, we suggest you start with the ISBN, because that will always be the exact book that you're looking for. But many times we'll have a textbook that is, maybe 1 year later or one year earlier than the edition that you're looking for. So then I would suggest you search by title or publisher or other means to be able to come up with some alternatives if we don't have the exact book that you're looking for. But yeah, let's go ahead and select 5th grade or 6th grade history textbooks. I don't know if there's such a thing. Let's see. Oh, yes. Okay. So here are some textbooks that are designed for 6th grade. There are 133 of them, and I probably could further refine here by certainly by just in English, and maybe I want to sort by the copyright date. I want a really recent textbook. So there are lots of different ways to search. And if you find that you've searched and can't find a comparable book in Bookshare, then there is a way when you're logged in to be able to let us know that that there's a book that you can't find in the collection, and we'll do our very best to get it in the collection for you. And the way that you would do that is so I'm going to the Help Center. So if I've searched and can't find a book, there's a link here that says Request a Book. You do have to be logged in, and then there's a form that you can complete, provide us information, and anything that you can tell us about it, and we'll do our best to find it, and we'll communicate with you about what we can and can't do regarding that book. Great. Other questions we should be answering?
I saw a couple AT-specific ones. Somebody mentioned working with our BRF files and transfer them to a Braille reading equipment. Transfer the file to a USB drive to transfer to the device is perfectly fine. Using Bookshare books with a Braille notes, the note here indicated something about also using an iPad. So I'm assuming this is actually like a Braille display device. As long as VoiceOver is enabled, you should have access to the Bookshare text with the Braille device, but do make sure if you're using, for instance, Read2Go, that the Read2Go audio is disabled. That way VoiceOver has access to the raw text. If you are using a Braille note itself, an actual Braille note device, you can load our books directly on the device, and it'll do the Braille translation, or you can open our BRF file, so you don't have to worry about that.
And hymns, I believe, is the same situation.
Yeah.
You can load it directly if you're using a hymn.
And then a question here that I did want to bring out. I didn't want to add any specifics because of privacy, of course. But a question that I get a lot from my team is, how do teachers gain access to Bookshare books? Due to the copyright restrictions that we have, only the qualified students have access to Bookshare books, and we're only funded for our U.S. students. Now, if a teacher is qualified for Bookshare, if a teacher has a qualifying print disability, they absolutely can sign up. They have to sign up for a standalone individual membership, and it is a subscription charge at that point. It's a very inexpensive. It's $50 per year for unlimited access. It's a great option, but it does have to be a separate account. Bookshare teachers on the organization accounts don't have a way of gaining access to our books. Unfortunately it's built that way intentionally.
But maybe I could give a plug to at least the five states now that have some of the national library services in California, Pennsylvania, Georgia,
New York.
Maybe it's 4 right now. Pennsylvania. If you are a patron of those libraries in those states, the subscription may be waived for you. That membership fee may be waived for you. So do take a look on our blogs, because we've been posting about that recently.
Right, so that's for adults. Adults who are not, so people who have a qualifying disability to access Bookshare but are not students can either pay for a membership, or if they live in one of the states that Ginny just mentioned, they can contact their local library to get a free Bookshare membership.
And I just saw my favorite question of all time. Somebody noted that the default voice on Chromebook is German.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. There's a better joke in here somewhere. But what's important is this is unfortunately a weird bug with Chrome OS. What I recommend doing is a couple of things. First, try going to the Bookshare Help Center and actually searching in there for German. We have a help article there where you can find a link that will install a new voice. And depending on the setup, the new voice will either automatically take over, that way you're not hearing the German voice, or you might have to go to the settings within the web reader to pick the new English voice out from the list. There's a possibility that you still have the old Bookshare web reader extension installed. This is an extension that we used to use for many years, but it actually is no longer needed, and in fact is now bugged to the point where it actually half breaks the web reader on the vast majority of devices. If this doesn't fix it, or for instance, if you open the settings window and you don't find a voice selector, go into the Chrome settings to your extension and delete that web reader extension, and then try it again. I guarantee that'll work. Well, of course, if it doesn't work, call my team.
Right. Quickly, I think many of you are coming from are part of a school or organization, so just some next steps to circle back here with. If you don't already have a Bookshare account, please sign up for one, or you can get yourself added to an existing one. If you want to ask around at your school to see if anyone has already started a Bookshare account that you can get added onto. Add your qualified students and add other teachers as well. If you'd like to have other teachers involved in using Bookshare, you can add them as what we call sponsors. Assign books by creating and sharing reading lists, and then show students how to log in and read. And I want to also bring to your attention, we have lots of sort of do-it-yourself help available on our website, and I actually want to take you really quickly to the Bookshare website, to the Help Center that has a lot of great information. Can you guys, are you seeing the Help Center? Okay. So under Training and Resources, 2 particular pages I want to bring to your attention. This first one, Brochures and How-To Guides. This has many step-by-step guides with detailed instructions and screenshots for many of the functions that you'll need to do in Bookshare, or ways to read on different types of applications or devices. So check out that list, and we're always updating it. So if you don't see it today, it might be there in next week, something that you need. And also, if there's something specific that you think would really be helpful, let us know, and we'll create a guide like this for that. The other page that I want to bring to your attention is the video tutorials page, because there are some videos here that show the step-by-step process for many of the functions in Bookshare, like adding members and opening books in Bookshare Web Reader, how to set up the student logins, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to encourage you to take advantage of the many videos here, and you'll find those all in the Help Center under training and resources. The answers with everyone?
There was a question about how and when do you choose the EPUB option for downloading to iBooks. So there's two ways that I would get that started. Is one, if you know that the student's going to be using an iPad, set them up with the preferences for that download format immediately, because then every time that they go to download it, that's one less step for them to have to do.
No, I can share that.
Oh, that would be great.
Show that, but go ahead and keep
And so so then when that student goes to download or the teacher helps them download, the EPUB would be the option for downloading as the format, and that's what Laura showed earlier in the recording, to have a book that is made available to open in iBooks, or potentially another reading tool that supports EPUB.
Right. So to Jenny's point, I've logged in here as the teacher on my demonstration account, again, my organization account. And if I know a student is going to almost always read on the iPad in iBooks, or a Mac computer in iBooks, or some other application or app that requires the EPUB format, I can set it so that that's the default. So I've selected the student by clicking the little pencil next to their name. Then I go to Reading Preferences, and here I'm just going to select EPUB in the drop-down. So there's a drop-down that has DAISY with images, then DAISY text only, audio, Braille ready format, and EPUB. So I'm selecting EPUB, and I'm going to save that preference so that when that student logs in and they on Safari, for example, on the iPad, and goes to download their book, they won't even have to worry about picking the format because EPUB will be the default.
And since you're here, we did have one other question about assigning a textbook to a reading list that maybe for some reason the student wasn't actually finding. Do me a favor and go to your reading list really quick. There's a couple of pieces to check. If you assign a book correctly to a reading list, but the student doesn't have access to the book still, click into one of your reading lists here and make sure a couple of things. On the assigned members roster on the reading list, that the student's name appears on it. And then right at the top, it'll say status here. This is public, and this is one of our internal lists, and this one's actually public for the world to see. But you want to make sure that the reading list that you've created is one that is shared with your organization or shared with the members on it.
Right.
If it's set to private, your students won't find it. But if you have some weird behavior with reading lists, please don't hesitate. These can be a little bit weird at first, so call my team. We can look at it from our side and see if there's some weird setting somewhere.
Yeah, that's a great point, Nick. With reading lists, there are several different steps involved. So there's choosing the reading list, and you can subscribe to lists that are provided publicly, that Bookshare is pushing out and making available, or you can create your own list. And so then that list has to be itself shared with your whole organization. And so you'll see here the status of this reading list is public. And then you share it with your students, specific students. So under the reading list, there's a tab that says Assigned Members, and that's how I can tell which of my students have access to that list. Great. All right, there's probably a lot more we could go through, but we're out of time, and appreciate everybody joining us today. We will definitely have more webinars planned in the future, so we'll get the word out about those. And thank you very much for joining us today. We're so happy that you could take some time and learn more about Bookshare, and have a wonderful school year. Thanks, everyone.